Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Going to talk a little fuel economy and run some numbers today. So the point of the video is, what's it worth? What's it worth? 5 miles per gallon versus 7 miles per gallon. Some people do better than 7. You know, the better you can do, the better off you're going to be on fuel economy, because my take on it is, that's money you are burning. You are literally burning money. That's what fuel is. You're burning money. Now, what I'm talking about is just standard operating. You pull a dry van, you pull a reefer, a flatbed. I think you should get a fuel efficient truck. That's my take on it. Now, there'll be plenty of people who disagree with it. Yeah, whatever. It's just one man's opinion I'm giving you here. So, if you do things that require 600 horsepower, pulling, mountains with, heavy haul, then, hoping for 7 miles per gallon is probably hoping, because you're probably geared really, really low gear ratio, and, you're probably big horsepower to pull those mountains with, a lot of weight. So this isn't really, speaking to those guys. This is just speaking to, the general, population pulling, your standard reefer, dry van, flatbed, that type of stuff. So let's run some numbers real quick. Getting unloaded here, so we're getting shook around a little bit. I'm gonna move this over so I can put some numbers up here for us. People love random YouTube people just numbering the heck out of them. So here we go. 125,000 miles a year is what I'm going to base my results on here, okay? 125,000 miles a year. I think that's a reasonable amount of miles for an owner-operator, because, sometimes you don't run as many miles owner-operator, especially, if you've been in it for a few years. You kind of get that, that lackadaisical approach to things. But, I ran a lot of miles last year, and, fuel economy paid off big. I was right at 8 miles a gallon for the year last year, so pretty good. So let's talk 125,000 miles. That's what I'm gonna put in. When I run my numbers, what I'm gonna put in. So if we got a truck and we're running 125,000 miles a year, if we're getting 5 miles per gallon, we're gonna buy 25,000 gallons of fuel. And at $3 a gallon, that's, $75,000 you're going to put in. So let's talk about if you're getting 7 miles per gallon. Okay, if you can get 7 miles per gallon, now we're talking 17,857 gallons on that. And the cost, and also, just so everybody knows, I'm calculating my fuel cost on this example at $3 a gallon. So that's not an extreme number either, especially with what fuel prices have done in the past year. So if you bought the 7 miles per gallon, $17,857 worth of fuel, that's $53,571. Now, I give this example of 5 to 7 because you can move into pretty much, a truck made within the last 10 years and probably be getting 7 miles per gallon. A fuel efficient truck, excuse me. So I do it at 7. But let's say you move into one of these like really, really fuel efficient trucks at 8 miles per gallon. Let's talk some numbers on that real quick. I'm just giving this as an example. I'll go back to the other thing here in a second. But if you did 8 miles per gallon for the year, on 125,000 miles, you would have bought 15,625 gallons of fuel for $46,875. Over the 5 mile per gallon truck, you would have saved $28,000 in 1 year. In 1 year, you could have saved $28,125 for doing no more work. You did the same amount of work, but in your bank account at the end of the year, there's an extra $28,000 in that bank account. And there's a little something extra I like to put in there. When you run a fuel efficient truck, it's easier on everything else. The tires aren't getting worn down as quick, because when you've got a truck that's not aerodynamic, you're pushing it through the wind. Therefore, the engine's working harder, the transmission's working harder, the tires are working harder, the rear ends are getting worked harder. Like, you're all day, that truck is working harder just to push itself through the wind. So back to my 5 mile per gallon versus 7 miles per gallon. So let's talk differences in overall cost. So with the 5 mile per gallon truck, you're going to spend $75,000 a year in fuel. With the 7 mile per gallon truck, you're going to spend $53,571 in fuel, for a difference of $21,429 at $3 per gallon. So like I say, you do no extra work. You run the same 125,000 miles, and at the end of the day, at the end of the year, your bank account has $21,000 more dollars in it. Now, I hear people say, "Oh, I don't want a DEF truck because that stuff is so expensive." And well, I mean, if you're saving $21,000 a year just in fuel cost, you know, you could put a 1 box on a truck and take a month off and still be at a break even. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It seems like a pretty easy no-brainer for me to get an aerodynamic truck. Now, if you've already got, you know, paid off trucks and it's not aerodynamic and you don't want to switch, then I get it. You know, you do you. But I'm just trying to point this out for new guys that haven't bought a truck yet. Think about this long and hard before you make the purchase, because once you make the purchase, you're in it. You're done. You know. And just to give you an example, here's the numbers that I really like and that prove a point to me. So let's say we did have a 5 mile per gallon truck and we upgraded it to a 7 mile per gallon truck. Okay, let's say we're getting a newer truck out of this. Okay, so we're getting a newer truck, but we've got a truck payment. I mean, you could pay cash for it. You know, always remember that. I see a lot of people on YouTube, I think they forget you can pay cash for things these days. Everything's got to be financed. So let's say you did finance it, okay? That $21,429 that you were saving in fuel cost could afford you a $1,785 truck payment at a break even. That's how much that $21,000 extra dollars in fuel you're spending is worth $1,785 a month. And see, here's my take on this, and here's where I come from, and this is why I drive a fuel efficient truck. I figure if I run a fuel efficient truck for 10 years at $3 a mile, I'm saving myself about $21,000 a year. So in 10 years, I'll have the money to buy myself a property in a nice climate. Let's say you go to a rural area in Florida. I can buy myself something near the beach in Florida for $210,000. I ain't saying it's going to be luxurious or nice, but you know, I can scoop something up in that price range, I'm sure. And honestly, I could pay the payment with what I'm saving in fuel at $1,785. I could have, you know, but I mean, honestly, if you save that up for 10 years, that's $210,000. So keep that in mind. Is that hood truck worth $200,000 in burnt money in a 10-year period? And you know, that's food for thought right there. Think of it like that. Is it worth $1,785 a month to you? I mean, what could you do with $1,785 in your life every month? Extra free money for doing the same amount of work. Could you take more time off? Could you spend more time with your family? I think you could do all those things. And that's where I come from with it. But anyway, guys, just a comparison. Like I said, do whatever you want to. Buy whatever truck that makes you happy ultimately, because you're going to be the one paying for it, and you're going to be the one driving it, and you're going to be the one living in it. So buy what makes you happy, and that's it. I'm gonna get out here before the sun melts my eyes out of my head here. Whew, man. But I appreciate everybody stopping by and hanging out with me. Appreciate everybody watching the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, maybe think about subscribing. Give me the thumbs up if you made it this far into the video. And check out that description down below. I've got Mudflap. Buy your fuel through Mudflap. Sign up with my promo code. Get you $10 in free fuel. Gets me $10 in free fuel. I have a second channel, Trucking with Diabetes. Check that out. I have merch now. Check out my merch store. And we got memberships on this channel now. So, you know, if you want to pay $5 a month, sign up. And to everybody else that just came to watch the video, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Take care of each other out there. Bye.